Alright, so I told you guys the shooting guards tier list was coming today, and here it is. Yesterday we did the PG tier list, so today I got you with the wonderful best shooting guards tier list in 2K21 Myteam. So if you are excited, make sure you drop that like button down below, and none of these normal positional tier lists will include the invincibles, just because I think for most of them it's kind of obvious that they'll be all the way up there in like the demon tier, so I'm just going to leave most of them out, unless we get some new cards that I feel like weren't ranked the other one and need to be. So we're starting off the first. After you hit the like button right now, go hit it. Alright, I forgot to say at the beginning. We're going to start off with the hard pass tier right there with the Galaxy Opal Season Rewind players that literally have no reason to be in the game, in Malik Monk, Josh Hart, and Edmund Sumner. I don't understand why we're doing these Season Rewind players, at least the rewarded ones that just absolute trash. There's really no reason to have them whatsoever, and 2K seems to not want to make them good at all. So there's that. We also have this wonderful trial Donovan Mitchell, who's just an absolutely terrible card. Really no reason to use him whatsoever. I still go against people who are using these trial cards even after the locker code's been put out. Makes no sense to me. Don't be one of those guys. David Wesley's great because he has that D-Wade base on very quick, which is awesome. I mean, come on, it's one of the best bases in the entire game, at least on current gen. But it's like, why do we need it? I mean, at this point, he's like 6 foot. He's a generous 6 foot. There's no reason. Marquise Johnson is a good guy when it comes to like defense and all that sort of stuff. But he's just not a card that I'm really too excited to ever use. And when I did do a gameplay with him, like, he was good, but like he was good for a guy who can't shoot that well. Not good overall. Amethyst Jason Richardson, just not a great card in general. And the Diamond Jim Jackson, again, just not a great card that I'm really too excited to use at all, to be honest. Now, starting off our still decent tier, this one we're getting into some of the guys that actually, you know what, they got a potential to maybe be on the bench or something like that, or maybe like a low budget squad with Talon Horton Tucker. This guy's actually kind of insane. Has that Oscar Robertson base, which is awesome. He can curvy slide, and he just feels like a really nice all-around shifty small forward, or shooting guard, sorry. But he is 6'4", which is a little bit tough. It's kind of short for a shooting guard, especially when there's menaces out there like myself running the 7'7" shooting guard Manute Bol. It's just not the greatest of times, but he can be pretty fun because that Oscar Robertson base is absolutely beautiful, man. Next up is Stanley Johnson, just a nice little kind of 3-and-D guy out there on these Myteam streets. I think he's fun. I think he's cool. He's never really a card that I would like suggest going out and getting, you know, to put on your lineup, but he can be fun. He can be nice. I think he's got a pretty decent jumper, and like for some reason I'm remembering it being Kent Bazemore or something like that, but I would assume that's a little wrong. You know what? I'll check what it is right now. Stanley Johnson has the wonderful Kent Bazemore jumper. I was right, which is a pretty decent one, but it's nothing, you know, too special or too crazy. So, you know, there is that. Next up is maybe a bit of a controversial one. I am a 76ers fan myself, but Matisse Thybulle, and still decent. Matisse Thybulle is kind of like one of those guys that's known for being, you know, that defensive heavy kind of guy, especially in real life. Kind of just plays the defense, is there to do that. He's 6'6", which is nice, a 6'10" wingspan. He's got the defense, and they made him kind of like a two-way guy. You know, he shoots a lot of threes, he can still dunk it a little bit and play that defense. And I think that's cool. But at this point, everybody can kind of shoot threes and, you know, play really good defense. And I don't know, jump shot 20 is a decent one, but it's nothing too crazy. So I think overall, like, he's a good card, but just, I don't know, nothing that really excites me too much. Same thing goes with this Diamond Lou Dort, who's a good card, but again, doesn't really excite me all that crazy. He's got an okay jumper, but I'm not a huge fan of it. He's severely undersized to play that shooting guard position. And because of that, I feel like he's supposed to be an absolutely insane defender, and he's just a good defender. So if he was taller, it'd be great. Or if he had that PG position, I think it'd be fun. I think we need like a Ruby or something, Lou Dort, that can play PG earlier in the season, and it'd be pretty fun, but I understand that he is a shooting guard small forward. Next up is Kevin Porter Jr., and I kind of messed up by not putting these two guys right next to each other. And Kevin Porter Jr. and J.R. Smith, they are virtually the same card, just a few stats difference here and there. They got jump shot 49 on only the quick timing, which is pretty tough. And it's just a little bit too slow to have some fun with. They're both literally reskins of each other. They're better at the point guard than they are at the shooting guard, and just not really guys I recommend. I have this JR, and I literally never use him because there is absolutely no point. Next up is Joe Caldwell, who's got jump shot 98, so you would think he'd be a little bit better than he is. But Joe Caldwell is just an undersized shooting guard. He's better at the PG, and when I actually used this card, he got stamina so fast, and he just wasn't a guy that I really was having too much fun with. Like, he can be good, he can be fun if you like that base 98 and can really, make use of it, but there's a lot better options, I think, at the 1 and the 2. At least in my very humble opinion. Next up is JJ Redick from the Splash Zone set, who is literally just here to be an absolute shooter. Does have a bit of defense that I did nice him with. He does have jump shot 28, which is cool. But, I mean, it's not a jumper that I'm too excited about. It's good. It's cool. It's like that Gordon Hayward, Michael Cooper kind of jumper. But it's nothing absolutely insane. Like, it's good, but meh. It's just JJ Redick. You put him in there, he's a shoot, and he's an undersized 2-guard again. Speaking of undersized 2-guards, I'll just throw out both of these guys right at the end because they're both, I think, 6'4" shooting guards. Eric Gordon does have that secondary position in PG, which is fun. He does have the Oscar Robertson base, like we talked about with Taylor Horton Tucker. It's pretty nice, and he is definitely better as that point guard. But I think he's just a good card. He's a great shooter. He can slash the basket a little bit, got some okay defense. He's just not bad all around. Could be a decently fun card, but just, again, nothing too crazy, nothing to write home about. And David Thompson has jump shot 9 on very quick. He's the only card other than Danielle Marshall with jump shot 9 at all, which is pretty cool. And they did juice up David Thompson because he is a dark matter. He can be fun. I did use the card a little bit. Never did a gameplay with him, but he's nice. He gives you what you would expect. Some good dunking, some okay 3-point shooting, some meh defense. It's nothing crazy, but he is a free dark matter, and he actually is a solid card, so I'm not too mad about it. Hopefully, the Money Mitch for this week is going to be a little bit better. Starting off our pretty damn solid tier, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the Caris LeVert, who is actually a pretty good card, man. He's got jump shot 70, which I absolutely love, and it's on very quick. On current gen, jump shot 70 is one of those big green window jumpers, which is absolutely amazing. On next gen, it's still just as good. It's just, to me, one of those jumpers that's really easy and simple to time, so you know what you're getting out of it. And Caris has got the defense, he's got the dunking, he's got all that sort of stuff. He's just a great card all around. But for some reason, there are some people that don't love jump shot 70, maybe because it's a little on the medium speed side. So, that may change your opinion a little bit. Next up is Bradley Beal, who has the wonderful Ray Allen jump shot base, which is, I think, tied for the fastest jumper in the game, which is just absolutely insane. It's got a nice green window as well, and off the catch, it is insane. If you ever done, like, that catch and shoot cheese, you pass into the corner, just immediately chuck up a 3, the best base to do it with is that Ray Allen base. It's absolutely amazing, and this Bradley Beal benefits greatly also from the fact that he's actually 6'3", but his 2K card is 6'5". Interesting how that works. But he's just a fun card that you get to abuse that Ray Allen base with. Next up is the wonderful Tyler Hero, who is the version of Trae Young that we all wish Trae could be. He has the Trae Young jumper on very quick, which is absolutely amazing, and has some really nice dunking, all that sort of stuff. I do have a gameplay out with this wonderful Tyler Hero card. It's actually really fun. I mean, that Trae Young base is absolutely insane. It's lightning quick, it's easy to time, everything about it is just great. So you can check that out, link in the description if you want to. But definitely a pretty damn solid card. Same thing goes, I guess not really same thing goes, but with this Tracy McGrady, just a really solid card, man. You got that Trey Brick base, no Curry slide, which for some people is kind of a game changer, but I've used this Tracy McGrady as like a budget guy for limited all weekend, and it's absolutely insane. He plays the defense, he dunks everybody. He's a 6'8" shooting guard, and his defense just all around is beautiful. I know he doesn't have the Curry slide, but if you really are nice at the game, I think you can make this Tracy McGrady work in your benefit greatly. Next up is Terrence Ross, who is just a 1-inch taller version of Caris LeVert that can play the small forward instead of the point guard at secondary. So I kind of view them as roughly the same. It's kind of, I don't know. For Caris, I think he may be a little bit better because he has that point guard position where I think he works a bit better. And for Terrence Ross, he has that player build where he kind of like looks way bigger than his height would suggest. So that's pretty nice. And jump shot 70, like I said, is amazing. He also can just attack the basket like crazy, dunk at everybody, and play great defense because of that player build. So Terrence Ross, absolutely amazing. A pretty slept-on budget option from that glitch promo set, I will say, too. Next up is not Malik Beasley. It is Obi Toppin, the Pink Diamond Obi Toppin, who definitely, I would say, is a little bit better at his secondary position of point guard from the odd position set. But he basically, in my opinion, is kind of like a 2-inch taller version of the, I'm drawing a blank on it right now, Penny Hardaway. There we go, the Penny Hardaway that we did get, which is pretty nice, I will say. It's interesting that we got these out of position like cards, so I guess, with so little gap in between them. But I think the great thing about Obi Toppin is that he is 6'9", so you do have that like insane height to really help you out and have some fun with. And jump shot 75 is pretty smooth and consistent and clean. He is a pretty tubby guy, but at 6'9", I think he can curry slide on both gens, which is pretty nice. It just makes him a nice card all around. Does only have gold clamps, which I don't love. The defense is a little suspect, but you know, I still think he's a pretty damn solid guy to be running at the PG position. Next up is a guy that I snuck out a little bit too early in Dark Matter, Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley is just a nice all-around shooter. I think he's got jump shot 13, something along those lines, which is a pretty solid, easy-to-time jumper. And his XP was like shoot 23, so I was able to get pretty money with it. He's the undersized shooting guard, so that may sway your decision a little bit because of the tall meta that's happening, like every year in 2K, but he's just super fun, super nice, and just an all-around solid shooting guard. Nothing crazy about him, nothing top tier, but he's definitely insane. Next up is the Galaxy Opal Kevin Porter Jr., who is better than his Dark Matter counterpart. Ain't that crazy? Only for the simple reason that he has the jump shot 49 on very quick. The point guard position definitely is what you should run him at, but jump shot 49 on very quick is a super solid, super clean, easy to time jumper. But on quick, it kind of sucks, especially in the meta of everybody having very quick. Plus, Kevin Porter Jr. gets to the basket with ease. He still has some good defense. He has good size at 6'6". He's just an all-around guy, and even if you want to run him at the 2, I think jump shot 49 is a great catch-and-shoot jumper all around. Next up is the wonderful Dark Matter Jordan Clarkson, the 6th man of the year, and this card is absolutely amazing. Has jump shot 107, which I think is one of the better bases, or one of the favorite bases for people on current gen, which is awesome. And he's just an all-around, you know, good PG, curry slide, that money jumper, just everything about it is pretty great. Does have kind of like a slim, slender player build, you know, which sometimes won't be the greatest on defense, so there is that, but I still think it's a pretty solid card. And if you get him on the triple threat boards, you should be pretty excited about it at least. Next up is Dark Matter Drazen Petrovic. I think the most disappointed I've ever been for an unlimited reward. Not that I've gone for any of them, but Drazen is kind of just meant to be like a catch and shoot kind of demon and that sort of stuff. He does have really nice all around stats and badges, but to me he just kind of looks like a guy that I'm going to shoot some threes with, and that's really about it. He does have good defense, finishing, and all that sort of stuff. He's got a nice jumper that I know a lot of people like, but I don't know. In general, I just think he's a solid card, but there's a potential for a lot better than that. Next up is Cassius Stanley, who is everything that Dark Matter Kemba wishes that he was. It's crazy that a diamond is better than him, but the reason I'm saying that, he's got the Kemba Walker jumper, he has the curvy slide, he has amazing finishing and really solid defense. Plus, I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", and can play secondary position point guard, which is amazing, and makes him a really, really solid glitch card. So I know a lot of people haven't talked about Cassius, but I think he is a great option for anybody trying to run, especially on next gen, because I think Kemba is one of the better bases on next gen, which is kind of crazy, because Kemba's kind of sucked this year. Next up is the wonderful Mikal Bridges with jump shot 80 and is the definition of an awesome 3-and-D player. Plays great defense and just shoots threes like a money man, and I love running him as a 2-guard. When it comes to budget options, I think this Mikal Bridges is one of the better guys you can pick up because he's super cheap and just basically does everything that you would need him to do at that shooting guard position. So really doesn't get too much better. Also think I may have done a gameplay with him as well, which is awesome. And if I did, it'll be linked in the description down below. Next up is the wonderful, gorgeous man with the locks, Manu Ginobili. Oh my lord, I love Manu Ginobili cards every single year, and this one, oh man, it carries the tradition of Manu being a slept-on guy, man. He's got the Dante X and base on very quick, which is absolutely amazing, and some of the best dribbling animations in the game. Does have that slender player build that I was talking about, but when you have the Dante X and base, I feel like it just caps you at being that like baby demon or demon tier every single time, because it is such a good jumper. It's just not the fastest, not the biggest green window, but it's just so good in every single category, and it's just so easy to time that it's one of the most beautiful jumpers in the game. Next up is the same thing with that Zach LaVine jumper. It is kind of like the equivalent to the trade break base, I think a little bit worse, but it makes this LaVine absolutely insane. If you've ever used a LaVine card in 2K, you know that these LaVines get up just better than other cards in the game. I don't know what it is, but there's some like Zach LaVine stat in the game that makes him dunk over literally anybody, and this one is no different. Plus, that Zach LaVine jumper is so easy to time and it's so amazing. I think its closest equivalent is Trey Burke, and he's actually got some really good defense as well. I do think you run him with the PG because he is 6'5", which I do have. List LaVine as my backup point guard because I locked in for Invincible Bowl today. But he's just a great, fun, all-around awesome card I think that anybody could use and have some fun with, man. Next up is the wonderful Tyreke Evans, who is basically a point guard version of Kobe Bryant, with the Kobe Bryant base on very quick and literally all of the best dribbling animations in the game. This Tyreke Evans is an absolute glitch, and if you have time, you need a PG, and you don't want to spend any MT, I think him or Manu are your best options for that. Plus, they can still play the 2-guard great because both of these jumpers are amazing off catch. Next up is Tommy Van Arsdale, my man out here. Tommy is actually a pretty insane guy, and I think I may have messed up a little bit and not included... Yes, I included Tommy, but I didn't include his counterpart in Dick Van Arsdale. So I apologize for that. I will... Here, drop him in right there. Look at that. Dickie Van Arsdale is here as well. So I'll just put him in this little tier list over here, and I'll drop him over here. I'll drop him over here. So Tom and Dick Van Arsdale, both of these guys are, with Tom, Dwayne Wade base, and with Dick, base 98. Base players that are absolutely amazing. Obviously, you know, those are two of the best bases in the game, and it makes them absolutely slept on demons. Plus, I know they are 6'5", but they just play really good defense. It's kind of crazy, and they dunk at everybody. They're just great all around. When you have those jumpers, again, it kind of caps you off at a pretty good card already, unless you're like David Wesley and 6 foot. You short little guy over there. But they're just great, man. If you've got either of these, you know how great they are. I got 3 Toms out of the triple threat vault, which is crazy. But these are some of the better, I think, undersized 2 guards in the game, to be honest. They're just super fun to run, man. And fun at this point is what I rank a lot of these cards on. Next up is the wonderful Gladiator Kobe Bryant base on very quick, which is obviously one of the best jumpers in the game. And you get everything you would expect with Kobe. Good defense, good size, the 2, dunking everybody, just an all-around great card. You just only are really going to struggle against some of those minute bowl people like myself. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Klay Thompson. I've seen a lot of Klay Thompson base slander on the timeline throughout 2K21, but I really haven't experienced anything bad with it. I still use Matt Bonner to this day and absolutely cook up with him, so you know. And as you would expect with Klay, one of the best 3-and-D options just in the game. And this Klay actually can get shifty, get inside, and have some fun as well, which is absolutely amazing. Next up, one of my favorite cards in the game, Jiang Liang, one of the premier cards every single year that I always get excited to drop a gameplay with when they finally give us a good version. And they niced us this year with a shooting guard. He is 7 foot, which is amazing. If he was a few pounds lighter, I think 4 it is, he actually would be able to curry slide, but it's kind of good that they didn't do that to him because he would be a like 300k worth price card on next gen, which is crazy. But he has jump shot 70 like the wonderful Terrence Ross and Karis LeVert, but he is 7 foot, so it is amazing that a card has such a good jumper at that height. He literally dunks at everybody. The defensive presence that he brings on the court is just beautiful. And if you got the MT, because he's kind of the same card on both gens, I would recommend picking him up because even if you just throw him at that small forward, the just ability that he plays to absolutely lock down on defense cannot be matched. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Duncan Robinson, the man who's known for being a catch-and-shoot demon in the NBA now. Jump shot 40 on very quick and is a 3-and-D specialist. I would be honest, depending on what jumper you prefer between Klay and jump shot 40, I think that would decide who you want between Duncan and Klay. But to me, they're virtually like cards that play the exact same role. If you want 3s and defense, Duncan Robinson, again, could be a really great option. I just prefer Klay a little bit. Next up is the wonderful Devin Booker, the man that's up 3-1 to the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. Who would have thought that? Honestly, if you expected the Suns to be in the Western Conference Finals right now, I want you to drop a flex in the comments, and I will make sure I go and heart that one. I'll look through it. But just absolutely insane. He has the Colin Sexton jumper, I think base 94 on very quick, which is gorgeous. He's a 6'6" 2 guard that can play the PG, and the bag that Devin Booker has is crazy. The defense sometimes with deep book cards can be a little bit lax, but I think this one is absolutely amazing and one of the better guys that you just kind of mess around with in the game. Plus, if you're a Suns fan, I know this card just has that being a fan of the team factor times 10 of making him more fun, which is awesome. Next up is the wonderful Cliff Robinson, who is a pretty solid shooting guard. I will be honest, I haven't used him a whole lot compared to some of the other cards from that out of position set, I will say. But Cliff Robinson is pretty decent, man. He's a 6'10" 2 guard, which is nice, and they kind of just juice him up. And I love him because of his, just, again, defensive ability. guys that are 6'10 at the shooting guard position with absolutely juiced up defense really just play better than they should. He's got the Dion Waiters base on very quick, which is a jumper that I absolutely love, and he can curry slide on next gen, which is absolutely amazing. He's just an all-around really, really great card. I think he has got a little bit of slack because people hate that he's playing at the shooting guard, but I can't get rid of the fact that he's amazing. And last but not least, into our top baby demon tier, right here is Dark Matter Ray Allen. There's just something about this Dark Matter Ray that is absolutely insane. It just, oh, it's amazing, man. The Ray Allen base. It is one of the best in the game, and it really is unmatched, if I'm being honest. It's unmatched. One of my favorite jumpers in the entire game. I just like him better than Bradley Beal, and that could just be some cap right there. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Brandon Ingram, who is absolutely insane. They made him a 6'9 shooting guard. I think his previous cards have been 6'7, so big ups to Brandon Ingram for growing 2 inches throughout the season of 2K, which is awesome. Good on you. And he's got just, I mean, he's a 6'9 shooting guard that plays amazing defense. He's got a bag on him. Jump shot 75 on very quick is amazing. And Brandon Ingram cards, I think this year have always been amazing at the time that they drop, which is awesome. A bit slept on because he is a season rewind card, but I promise you, you will not regret using this Brandon Ingram card. Next up, this may be one of the more controversial picks on a list. I'm sticking with it because I am a proponent of this player. It is Pink Diamond Manute Bol, and I will not be putting this Manute anything lower than Demon tier. Manute Bol is my starting shooting guard and has been since he dropped. I also sometimes run him at the 3, you know. I'll switch it around depending on what gameplay we're doing. But the overall defensive presence that this Manute Bol puts on a court is absolutely insane. Plus, he's an amazing shooter. I've really got used to his jumper, and it's absolutely amazing. But basically, if you were to be a person that runs a 2-3 zone, I personally don't. This Manute Bol is in every single passing lane. You literally can jump anything. I think this Manute is averaging like 4 to 5 steals a game for me, plus 2 to 3 blocks. Like, his defense is unmatched. The amount of quits that I get just because Manute Bol's on the court and shutting everything down is crazy. Plus, his offensive game is insane. And if you're on next gen, because of how tall he is, his 83 speed makes him the fastest card in the entire game. DBG actually did a test on it, which is crazy. This Manute Bol is Demon tier, and I will not be listening to any cap that says he should be lowered. Next up is the wonderful Denny Avdija, one of my favorite cards in the game. Has one of the best jumpers on next gen in Jump Shot 3. Actually, I would call it the best jumper in next gen. It's either between that and Curry. And he's 6'9" at that shooting guard and point guard position. I actually was for a while running him as a duo with Luka, which was cheese, man, let me tell you. Because Denny can get to the basket, can finish with the best of him. He's got amazing defense. He's got a good player built. And Jump Shot 3, again, if you're on next gen and you haven't used a card like Denny with Jump Shot 3, you need to open up the world and give it a try because it is so, so, so good. Next up is the wonderful duo of Tracy McGrady and DeMar DeRozan, both Treyburg-based guys who are 6'7", or 6'8" for T-Mac, that just literally do everything. And again, it's the Treyburg base. You gotta love it. I've said this every single tier list, but I just want to make sure people still remember it. If you're on next gen, Tracy McGrady's your guy because he's got blinders, and if you're on current gen, DeMar DeRozan's your guy because he doesn't have blinders. So that's how that goes. Both amazing cards, and I wanted to make sure to rank them because they're both cheap right now because T-Mac is on the boards and DeMar was on the boards in Triple Threat, which is awesome. Next up is the current gen version, at least in my opinion, of Denny Avdija with Josh Smith. He's got the John Wall base on very quick, and he's basically just a 6'9" version of John Wall. Just as good, if not better slashing. The defense on this Josh Smith is unmatched. Anybody who's used this Josh Smith card can attest to how absolutely insane he is on the defensive end, including myself, because I did do a gameplay with him. It's just absolutely amazing. I absolutely love this Josh Smith card. Honestly, if I was on current gen, I think I would have him as my shooting guard because of how good he is. But again, I'm always a fan of cards that just have defensive versatility and is all around great. Plus, that John Wall jumper is amazing for a lefty as well. Next up might be a bit of a controversial one, but it is Galaxy Opal DeAndre Hunter. Just the ability that this Hunter has to be the best, in my opinion, 3-and-D card like in the game at that budget position. I just absolutely love it. Some people might want to put him down a little bit, but we had a pretty crowded baby demon tier, and I just said, you know what? Get up there. DeAndre Hunter, why not? Absolutely insane guy, especially at his price. Next up is the wonderful Steven Jackson, Rudy Gay base on very quick, 6'8". The defense is crazy, and did I mention he's got the Rudy Gay base? One of my favorites in the game. Just another one of those jumpers that is so easy to time that it's basically green lights every single time despite the green window. Absolutely love myself some Steven Jackson, but is a bitch and a half to get him. And last but not least, we do have the wonderful Amethyst Boris Diaw. I'm going to be honest, I love this Boris Diaw. He's got the Lino Gallinari jump shot base, and he's just insane. I've had so many people cook my stuff with this Boris Diaw. I won't say too curse words in this. I'll keep it YouTube friendly. But just absolutely insane, man. The Lino Gallinari base is one of those jumpers which has a nice green window and is so easy to time. Plus Boris is 6'8", so that defense is not lacking whatsoever, and he can get inside and cheese with the dribble moves like the best of the cards in the game, which is absolutely insane. I love this Boris Diaw, and if you're on a budget for a PG or a shooting guard, he is definitely a guy that you have to look at to throw on your team. So this is the end of our tier list right here for the best shooting guards in my team. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Is there anybody that I left out of the list you think needed to be ranked, or you wanted to know where he was at? Let me know them down in the comments. Do I need to move some guys up, move some guys down? Let me know that in the comment section below as well. Hit that like button if you did enjoy or found it informative, and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We are on that road to 10K subscribers. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.